Hey everybody, welcome once again to another Low on Health Rambling. Today is September 6th, 2011. This rambling is basically going to cover what's been going on in my life recently. I've been doing some big life change choices, everything, and stuff, and I just want to kind of, there's not clarify, but give everybody an explanation of why I'm doing what I am doing. It's going to be really quick, really rapid fire. A lot of you probably already know a lot of this stuff. For some of you who don't know, this is what's going on, and this is mainly for prosperity's sake, which is mostly what these videos are for anyway. Anywho, it starts off with a couple weeks ago, let's say 7 weeks ago, I hear on the news, basic local weather, global news and national news, and I hear local news, Citizens Property Insurance is going to be raising their sinkhole premiums. And I'm like, oh, well that's funny because I'm working two jobs now that's why I'm working at McDonald's. I'll get to that in a second. I'm working two jobs to pay for my escrow shortage because of the sinkhole coverage increase. So now it's going to go up even more. Well, what am I going to do? So I was really in a bad fervor for that whole day trying to figure out what I'm going to do, because no matter what, I'm going to be busting my ass and basically working all the time. I mean, I don't know if I can actually keep doing that. I don't know what else I can do to break even. I've been working two jobs just to make for it, and it's going to keep going up. And then I came to a realization with the house. Before I got the house, because yes, me and the girlfriend at the time, we both needed a house for a room. Her game room, my game room, the display room, the bedroom. I mean, it kind of made sense. But now, as time has gone by, I realize I'm already living in just half of the house in like a studio apartment type of thing. I really don't need a big house anymore. I really just need a place for internet, TV, and a shower and bed. But so I kind of started going over all my options and trying to figure out how I could break even. Because it basically comes down to I'll be paying $5 to $6 grand on homeowners insurance a year. So that means I have 24 more years left. I'd be paying 120 grand on insurance for a house I bought for basically 129. That is now worth only 57. So that doesn't kind of add up. Even if I refinance to get my payments low, I refinance another 30-year mortgage to get my payments low, but I'm still paying an extra 30 grand on insurance. Now, when I bought the house, I understood insurance. It was like only 28. That's with flood and everything. But because everything has gone up in price for insurance premiums, it's just gotten ludicrous. It's not even the fact of the matter that I got into a bad interest rate. My interest rate is great, locked in 5.4. No problem. But the problem is insurance is basically, again, ungodly expensive. And I'm not the only one. A lot of people are in the same situation. So after milling it over, I decided, hey, you know what? I'm unfortunately just going to have to walk away from my mortgage, which is a horrible thing to do to default. It's going to screw up my credit. Turns out I did some research. My credit scores, depending on where you look, is basically 811, 836, which is pretty good. Now, if I default on the house, it hits you for about 150 to 200 points, which puts me still in the 500 to 600 range. Still not that bad. So what I decided to do was, okay, I'm going to default from the house. Where am I going to live? So I started thinking of other things. I don't really want to do condos or apartments. I really don't want to rent. So I started looking, RVs. I really didn't want to have to worry about RVs because I have to worry about another vehicle to upkeep. I didn't want to worry about a houseboat, even though it would be great because there wouldn't be any kids around. So the houseboat idea kind of got thrown out the window. What I decided to do then was kind of look around at travel trailers and trailers in general. I didn't want to live in a mobile home park, which is basically just in a line of, units and whatnot on a road. So I basically drove around to a bunch of places. Some trailer parks aren't that great. Some of them are a little bit better. I ended up finding this one RV park up in Hudson that had some units for sale. I'm like, that's great. I wouldn't have to worry about buying a unit and moving it there. I could just buy the unit that's there. Called them up, said, how much is that one unit, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, well, we have two units for sale, yada, yada, yada. They're $700. I'm like, no, not how much the maintenance is or how much you move in. How much is the unit itself? And she's like, $700. I'm like, no, wait. Clarify? She's like, $700 for the unit. I'm like, I'll be there in 30 minutes. I came up, looked at the two trailers, mulled them over a little bit, looked at all my different options, called them 2 days later, said, I'll take it. Came up, purchased a trailer, and that is currently what I'm living in now, is a trailer out in Hudson. And in which case, I'm going to show you a little picture of it real quick. Just to give you perspective, there is the house, which is about 1,340 square feet. I am now moving into that. It's a very small trailer, basically 250 square feet. So, yes, I'm downsizing, and yes, it's not as grand as living in a house, but what it comes down to is living in a trailer, I'm basically going to be saving almost $1,000 a month as opposed to bleeding out $100 a month, working two jobs, and finding extra hours. So once I decided to do that, I did put in my 2 weeks at McDonald's saying, hey, you know what, guys, it's been great. I've been here for 6 months. I enjoyed it. I loved working with all of you, but I no longer need the money. Like, well, why don't you stay here and make extra fun money? Because unfortunately, working the 30, 35 hours at McDonald's, I don't have time to use fun money. It's been slowly killing me, just energy-wise and health-wise. So I said my fond farewell to them, and I no longer work at McDonald's. So yes, it sucks I don't get half-off food, but now I have all my free time back. I have all my, basically, freedom to an extent. But what that does mean is I'm living in a trailer. Whoa, what do we got going on here? Living in a trailer. So what that basically means is, hold on a second here. Sorry about that, little technical difficulties. Nothing to do with living in a trailer now. But essentially, living with the trailer, you have your little nuances. Not that much space. I do have a porch, and I do put I put the cat door in. That way, Rufus can go in and out. That solves the litter box problem, where the litter box is outside on the porch, it's screened in, and he can go in and out at his leisure. And he likes that more because he can go outside whatever he wants. Doesn't have to wait for me to come home and whatnot, which is cool. It also doesn't have washer and dryer, but the complex, the RV travel park that I live in, it does have washer and dryer facilities. It even has the shower facilities and bathroom facilities. It has a little gazebo, a little shuffleboard. It even has like a little like parakeet cockatiel gazebo cage thing, which is kind of cool. And there is lot maintenance, which does cover water. But in the long run, instead of paying like, $1,500 on just mortgage alone, now I'll be paying, like with the water and electric and cable TV or cable internet, that's all I really need. It's under $400, which just saves me so much more money. But the good news is I've been doing that now, living here for about a week or so now. But what I realized too is that, it's going to screw up my credit. And that's the biggest thing that you have to worry about is it's going to screw up my credit. It's not as bad as filing for bankruptcy. But the thing is, I realized, eventually you need loans, right? I mean, that's what credit's for. You need loans to get what? Student loans, house loans, and car loans. And I realized, my car's over 10 years old. I mean, you can see it there. It's a green Mazda. It has like 92,000 miles on it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should look into getting a new car. And I've always kind of wanted a Jeep, or a smart car. I want to get something unique. I didn't want to get the same coupe or SUV like everybody else does. So I decided to go ahead and look around, and I was like, there's some really good deals going around, and basically I was looking at Jeeps. I wanted to buy an old Jeep, but I figured if I buy a new one, it'll come old eventually, and I'll at least know what's wrong with it. So with the Jeep, I went to the dealerships and whatnot and priced them around. They had a lot of good deals going around, like 0% APR for 60 months. I'm like, well, that's great. So I talked to them, whatever, and I eventually just, long story short, I bought a Jeep. And that's the Jeep right there. It is a Jeep Wrangler Sport. It has a soft top, 2-door. I love it to death. It has a really cool kind of convertible top-ish. And yes, I already got rained out and ended up kind of getting water in it at one point because I forgot to lock the back of the soft top, in which case a bunch of water got in there, got about 3 inches of water. But luckily it has little plugs. You pull the plugs, water drains out, got a wet bag, dried it all out, no big deal. It's a Jeep. If any other vehicle is supposed to get water in it and deal with it fine, it's the Jeep. But I love the vehicle. The gas mileage isn't that great, but you know what? The money I'm saving, I decided, once in your life, you always got to go, whenever you think about buying a new car, doing the smart thing, I could have gone across the street, gone to Hyundai, got whatever was on clearance, had great gas mileage, and you know what, whatever. But I realized, at one point in your life, I have the means to actually get what I want, so I decided to get a Jeep. And I think everybody should do that at least once in their life, get a vehicle they want, not the vehicle they should get, if they can afford it and within their means. But that's kind of what I'm doing now, and I figure with the Jeep, by the time this whole mortgage thing default gets underway and it hits my credit, I'll still have 4 years of doing payments on the Jeep, and that should build my credit right back up. And of course, they gave me the Jeep fine because I have great payments and I have great credit history, and it was the best time to do it. So that's kind of what's going on right now. I basically, long story short, walking away from the house. In which case, I know people are saying it's been like 3 months to 6 months to 8 months to actually get rid of it. So I'm kind of slowly moving everything into the trailer, kind of using the house as a storage. And eventually, I'll turn off electric and water and get all that taken care of. But long story short, defaulted on the house, moving into a trailer. Yay, got the trailer. And actually, the trailer said and done, title and everything, was still less than one mortgage payment with like Tri-Z deposit and everything. So that's just sick. Trading in the Mazda for a Jeep, in which case there are payments on that. It isn't a lot, and my insurance does go up, but once again, not that much. It's still more comparable than what I was making before. Quit McDonald's, so yay, I have free time again. I've basically been playing a lot of video games and whatnot, and I'll be able to do these videos more often again, in which case I'll be doing another one soon talking about my vacations. But that's currently what's going on in my life right now. That's basically moving down into a trailer. It's not as prestigious, but who cares? I am happier here. It's more mentally free for me. Like, I don't have to worry about what's going to break in the house next, what's going to go wrong, what insurance is going to go up, what do I have to worry about cleaning, mowing the lawn, and all that stuff. It's very condensed, and I hate to kind of go back on that. It is a big, kind of moral, ethical black spot on my record and in myself in itself, but for me, it just seemed to be the smart thing to do, and I do kind of not necessarily regret it, but it's taken me a long time to kind of get over it, and I'll still be working on losing the house and whatnot, but that's kind of where I'm at right now. Feel free to comment and everything, and as always, thank you for watching, and I'll catch you next time.